My name's Al Motna. I was born in Yuba City, California, and grew up in a small agricultural community. Well, I was one of those people when I was a young person that they just couldn't keep me out of the field. It just was a desire of mine from the time I was 5, 6 years old because I loved the farm. I grew up on a peach farm. The heart of the rice industry is in these counties and 2 or 3 surrounding counties. And so the rice industry evolved from a very small industry now to where it's 550,000 acres in the state. It's the heart of the rice industry in California, and it's the heart of the wintering habitat for waterfowl and water birds in the Pacific Flyway.
So my name's Megan Hurdle. I'm the Director of Land and Water Conservation for Audubon, California. And Audubon is one of the oldest conservation organizations in America. We've been around for more than 100 years. And this place is one of the most remarkable places for migratory birds. So we have birds that are coming along the Pacific Flyway from places as far away as Alaska, and they're stopping here to either overwinter or to rest and refuel before they head further south.
Paul Butner, and I manage environmental affairs for the California rice industry. We have 500,000 acres of rice here in the Sacramento Valley, and that's mixed in with about 75,000 acres of managed wetlands. Really, the food provided by these winter flooded rice fields is so essential to the flyway now.
I spent many years working in the valley in various capacities. The Central Valley is one of the 3 most important wintering areas for waterfowl in the entire continent. It supports 60% of the migrating and wintering waterfowl in the Pacific Flyway, and in an average year that translates to over 5 million ducks and over 2.5 million geese.
What really speaks to me is the history of this valley. It's the subject of a book called Battling the Inland Sea. Virtually the entire valley flooded every year, virtually, and the river was a wild river. It moved from side to side over the years, and really that is the underpinnings of the history of this flyway, right?
All the water comes out of the Sierra Nevadas. It's surface water mainly in this valley. And that water, when it comes down these rivers, has nothing in it. But when we built levees and so forth, the traditional floodplain went away. And we're now restoring this floodplain by flooding these fields. That water molecule is not only providing agriculture and an economy in this valley, that water molecule is raising hundreds of species of birds, water birds. And it's also now we're starting to use that water molecule to restore the salmon runs on these rivers.
So the Central Valley of California has lost 90 to 95% of its historic habitat. So that's everything from wetland habitat, floodplain habitat, riverside forest, almost all of it is gone. In California, we're seeing a lot of pressure on our remaining natural habitat and also on the agricultural lands that are providing surrogate habitat for birds and other wildlife. And that pressure is coming from expanding urban areas, increasing competition for water, and of course climate change, changing the way that water is falling on the landscape and how much water we have available. Yet we remain a critical place for migratory birds, and that's because we've found a way to work with rice farmers and other farmers to create surrogate habitat on the landscape.
So I'm Monica Iglesia. I'm the Assistant Director of Shorebird Habitat Management at Manomet in our Shorebird Recovery Program. And as a group, shorebirds are considered one of the most imperiled bird groups. Across the globe, nearly 45% of shorebird populations are in decline. And so that's what's so exciting about what's going on here at Montana Farms and within the Central Valley, is that they've been able to identify ways to improve management to provide habitat for these birds when and how they need it.
It's like this three-legged stool. You have to be responsible to people, your community, your neighbors. You have to be responsible to the planet. You have to leave this better than you found it. And you have to be able to make a profit, because profit is what drives us being able to do conservation on these lands.
In this Sacramento Valley, there's just a very fraction left of natural wetlands that used to exist. And so what we can do as private landowners to provide surrogate wetlands on a seasonal basis is really something that I really am proud to be part of and I enjoy seeing out here.
And we realize that we have much more success in Sacramento in the legislature and with the public, and in Washington, D.C. with Congress, if we're good stewards. Well, we're very fortunate in this region, because not only do we have great organizations to work with, we have Ducks Unlimited here, we have California Waterfowl, we have Audubon, we have T&C, we have the shorebird folks, Manamint, and they're all working together, where it used to be at one time everyone was trying to get their own turf because they wanted their own members, and they've found that their synergy together is putting a tremendous amount of conservation on the ground.
Well, Montana Farms is very serious about wildlife conservation. I've not been, in their boardroom, so to speak, but I bet on a daily basis, conservation is as important as growing rice to Montana Farms. It's a part of their business plan.
We're learning to be better neighbors. We're learning to be better stewards of the land. All the conservation left in this country is on private lands, and we are all in. We have seen the results. You saw yourself here, the thousands of birds on this property here in the middle of February. And as Dale Hall says, who's CEO of Ducks Unlimited, if the farm and ranch gates ever close to conservation mission's over in this state. So agriculture has to leave its gates open, and conservationists have to come in to work with us to keep this land better for my family and my grandchildren than when I found it. And it's going to be their responsibility to do that and pass it on to the next generation.